Welcome to the FSB news briefing for Beds, Cams and Hearts. I'm Stephen Rhodes. It's time now to meet another Member of Parliament in our patch, Richard Fuller. He's the Conservative member for Bedford, and he's also one of the 12 small business ambassadors appointed by David Cameron. But what, sir, is the point of a small business ambassador?
Well, first of all, it's recognition of the importance of small businesses to the economy and actually to government. And for me here in the east of England, what it means is that I'm here to listen to the interests of small business, listen to their concerns and communicate them directly to the Prime Minister.
What can you do about that great bugbear of small business, red tape? Sometimes it feels like we're drowning in it.
My background's in small business and I sometimes scratch my head with frustration about how difficult government can make it for small businesses. And it's a constant pressure. Some of the things we can do in Westminster, some of which I'm afraid come from the European Union. The best answer, I think, is for the government to look seriously at exempting some of our very small businesses from bulk of those regulations. So rather than trying to streamline them, just get rid of them altogether.
Okay, to finance now. Tell me about this local business fund you've launched. What's that about?
Well, a lot of businesses since I became Member of Parliament are continuing to struggle with finance from local banks. And the availability of capital is a constant issue if you want to grow your business, whether it's for working capital or it's for core equity investment or loans to grow your business. So what we've done uniquely here in Bedford is gone to people who live in Bedford or care about Bedford and asked them to chip in money, usually it's about £10,000, using the EIS investment scheme. And the target of that fund, and we've raised just over £400,000, is for that fund then to invest in the next generation of small businesses in Bedford. The answer to towns like Bedford across the country is you've got to grow your private sector. And that means giving people who want to start a business a chance and getting some financing as part of that and having local people who care about growing business to be there on hand to give those local businesses, small businesses, some advice as well.
As the Bedford MP, what have you done in support of small businesses in your constituency?
Well, the business fund is one, and I've been trying to encourage other members of Parliament to take that up, and I think we've got a chance of starting more of these local enterprise funds across the country. I've also engaged with the Institute for Family Businesses. Family businesses are some of the strongest people in terms of continuing employment and continuing businesses across the generations, and brought them to Parliament so for the Eastern region they can engage with other members of Parliament to promote the causes of small businesses. And I've taken up issues with, particularly on interest rate swaps. Banks were mis-selling interest rate swaps to small businesses across Bedford and across the country. 30,000 businesses have been identified as being potentially at risk of having been mis-sold a financial product. And I've been working with other members of Parliament to bring those banks to account. And we're in a process now, and I'm hopeful that many of our small businesses will soon receive some of the compensation that they deserve because of that mis-selling of those financial products.
A very big campaign with the FSB is Keep Trade Local. Now, knowing the enormous issue that Bedford has with Milton Keynes just the other side of the motorway, what are you doing to keep trade local there?
Well, with apologies to my colleague MPs from Milton Keynes, the only thing I bought in Milton Keynes is a ticket out of there, and I intend to remain like that because I'm very Bedford. I love Bedford and I want to make sure that Bedford's commercial centre strives. That's why I'm a big supporter of Small Business Saturday, which is a way in which, I think 7th of December this year, running a campaign here in Bedford and across the country where people can spend that day just buying from their local shops. That's a campaign I hope the FSB will take up and support across the country. If people want to have a thriving home community, then we need to spend our money with people who live in our community and run the stores in our community. And Small Business Saturday is all about that.
So, from someone with a background in small business to being a small business ambassador, what's your message?
What I care about with great passion is promoting entrepreneurship. It doesn't really matter whether people start a business because they're motivated to make a lot of money or because they have a spiritual motive or because they have some social ambition. The very process of starting your business is a wonderful growth that you feel as an individual. It challenges you in lots of other ways that you don't get in other things that you do in life. And if you're successful, your success is what enables our country to earn the money, to tax you, to pay for those public services that we cherish. And with the government, under the last government, having spent all the money and racked up so many debts, we owe, in Parliament and in government, a huge debt of gratitude to the people who've taken that risk to start their own business, because their success will pay for those public services. And whilst I'm a Member of Parliament, I will never forget that part of my responsibility is to speak up for those businesses in Parliament and to do it as forcefully as I can.
Richard Fuller, the Conservative member for Bedford. And that concludes this news briefing for Beds, Cams and Hearts. I look forward to seeing you again soon.